John Grubbs.
John Grubbs, and why are you here?
I came to visit the daughter of the composer I studied with from about 1949 maybe to 1955.
But anyhow, I'm interested in your career then. What happened then?
Okay, but I would never have had a career. You know, I studied keyboard harmony with him, which is the way he taught that first, at the piano, and then counterpoint away from the piano. And he used all those kind of fermi that he learned his counterpoint from in Vienna and so forth. He taught me exactly as he was taught, and that was extraordinary. And then when I would get stuck at some plateau where it was difficult or something, and he would say, never mind, and he would sit down. That's where he really turned me around. And then he began to show me the songs of Hugo Wolf and the Mahler Ninth, and just all kinds of incredible music. Wagner's Meistersinger and so on. And then in those years there were a number of opera performances, and along with Parsifal, and we talked about Parsifal and all this music, and I went to the same concert. He was there at that performance of Parsifal and so on.
Oh, he loved Wagner.
And he was extraordinary. I didn't sleep for nearly a week after he knew it. Your dad understood what that harmonic world was and how these relationships were. I was working, but I would go nights, and I took German nights. I took at least that's when I took the class with Eric that he was teaching, and it was in that first class I had with him that he played for us pieces for Barbara.
Oh, yes.
And also a song that I can't remember right now that really kind of blew me away. It was a marvelous class, and I was so stunned that I think I talked to him about maybe studying with him, and so I began to come out to his house on, I don't know what was weekends that he taught, perhaps.
I think it was mainly weekends,
Weekends.
Yeah, because during the day he composed and then he taught at night, but it wasn't every night, so he probably had some time during the week for students.
But it was a wonderful class because he could not only talk about this, but he could sit down and play anything on the piano. I don't think we had records that we were using in those days. He's so enthusiastic about the music. When he'd sit down and play this music for you could see how he loved it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way. I always feel like I was maybe more of a music salesman. We had some progression and anything, but I think mainly his burden was not to teach us music history so much as it was to really teach us what was really important about music and great music.
When you say he played piano or he taught the repertoire or taught what was important, was it music theory or did he discuss other composers and the literature?
He discussed composers and their music, and I think it was primarily 19th century and beginning of 20th century music. I'm not positive. When we married, of course, we invited your mom and dad, and then he gave me this manuscript that was for a song. I don't know which song it was for sure, but it's the one that I had framed in such a way that you could see both sides of it.
Yes.
And I had it over my piano all my life, as I so treasured, in which he'd written and wished Joe and me both every happiness. He knew the passion for music that grew and grew in me at that time, and as I told you before, that was the life-changing experience for me in terms of what he gave to me in the way of understanding music in ways that I never could have begun to understand. I will never lose, and I think that I've been able to give that to a lot of my students. I know as far as the way I taught primarily music history, Baroque especially was mine, and then also the art song and so on, but particularly in those courses, I generally taught not only by history, by example of music. I would select things I felt really one could learn about. And I never used a kind of what you call shorthand harmonic theory that they use in all these books, which it makes fine sense for them because they can all reduce it to various kinds of numerical things, and it works, but it doesn't explain music. But the way your father showed me does.
Do you remember any of the composers that were in his pantheon that he especially admired? I mean, of the older 19th century composers. I know Wagner. The French composers, or did he ever?
Mahler especially, I think. Mahler especially is what that he. And then when you go back further, the Mozart and your dad loved Bach, and the only other thing, I don't know if you ever heard this or not, because this may tell you something about influence on your father that you wouldn't expect. Some people wouldn't. There's only one composer mentioned in here, and he said the three greatest people in the world were Jesus, Moses, and Wagner.
Oh, he loved Wagner.
And these concerts started coming up, and we talked about the Brandis Sonata and the Sonata Barocca and so on, and also the Hebrew Requiem and so on. So I started studying them, and then I went to some of the concerts, and I didn't miss any. I don't think I missed any in those years that I was there, and there was different places, and I had never heard music like that, and it blew me away. Your father's music. That he just is so enthusiastic about the music. When he'd sit down and play this music for you, could see how he loved it. Yeah. And I think that's the way. I always feel like I was maybe more of a music salesman than a teacher. That he never showed me exactly how to do it. It's what he taught me, that I was able to take the information and translate it in meaningful terms. Especially trying to analyze some of the remarkable pieces of Hugo Boltz, harmonically and so forth.
There's been work on my father now, and so it's such a gap for me that there's nobody that knew my father that I could talk to, and then suddenly you emerged and you wrote the most wonderful letter. I remember it brought tears to my eyes because it just showed your love of my father and understanding, and that it was still a flame there.
Well, my family, I mentioned my family, my relatives know what that meant to me, and it's just been part of my teaching for the rest of my life. Yeah. It's something that I don't know if you can really understand it or not, but it really hurts. It really hurts a lot,
when you can't, when there's
something that meant so much to you and it just vanished.
Yeah,
Just vanished.